The firearms were first mentioned in the European chronicles in the 14th century. At that time, the artillery became a new type of troops that took part in sieges and battles. At the very beginning, weapons were divided into siege and field types. Siege-type weapons were used during sieges of castles and fortresses, field ones during movable use on the battlefield. Gun barrels were cast from bronze, copper, or were welded from iron strips. Welded barrels were additionally fastened with an iron hoop to obtain ruggedness of the construction. In the 15th century, the barrels were mounted on the wheeled carriages to increase mobility of the artillery-type weapons. The lower part of the gun carriage could be lifted and lowered to aim the gun at the target in the elevation plane. What was the aiming process of the gun? There was a rail with hose that was mounted on the movable part of the gun carriage, and a pintle that was to be inserted into a certain hole of the rail to fix the movable part of the gun carriage in the elevation. A rebauldequin is an artillery-type weapon with a distinctive feature. Several barrels of a small caliber were mounted on one gun carriage. The rebauldequin was intended for the destruction of the enemy's manpower, infantry, cavalry, with a simultaneous powerful volley from several barrels. A coulevrin is an artillery-type weapon that differs in a relatively small barrel length, up to 1.5 meters, and insignificant caliber. The coulevrin was a multi-purpose weapon. It was intended both for the destruction of the enemy's fortifications and for the destruction of its manpower. Coulevrin's barrels were welded from iron strips, but to obtain ruggedness of the construction, barrels could be additionally fastened with an iron hoop. A bombard is an artillery-type weapon of a large caliber. They were used to break down walls during sieges, as well as of all kinds of fortifications and engineering constructions. Bombard's barrels were usually cast from bronze or copper. Bombard balls were made of stones. Less often they were cast from iron or hammered out of ferrum. The master gun was the commander of the crew, and usually it was the same person as the caster who manufactured the gun barrels. One of the artillerymen stands with a sponge cap. The sponge cap is a long wooden pole with a cylindrical end made from leather, cloth, or horsehair that was used to sponge the barrel after firing. With the help of the sponge cap, it was possible not only to clean the gun bore, but also to remove smoldering parts of the charge-suit cartridge that could cause spontaneous ignition of a new charge when seating it into the barrel. The second artilleryman holds a linstock in the right hand. The linstock is a short wooden pole with a fixed slow match on it. With the smoldering end of the slow match, the gunpowder charge was set on fire.